What if the only thing standing between you and total control is compassion? Not real compassion, not deep, earned empathy, but the hollow, performative kind, the conditioned reflex to be nice, be understanding, forgive quickly. The kind of mercy that's less about virtue and more about obedience. You were trained to show mercy, to assume the best in others, to give second chances even when you knew better. Why? Because mercy makes you manageable. This is not a manifesto against kindness. It's a warning against the weaponized version of it, the softness disguised as moral superiority, the blind forgiveness that keeps abusers in power, the endless empathy for those who drain, manipulate, and destroy. The darkest minds in history knew this. Mercy is a tool. Use it wisely and it's power. Use it blindly and it's your cage. To think without mercy doesn't mean to think with cruelty. It means to think with clarity, unfiltered by guilt, not softened by social expectation, not warped by emotional interference. It means seeing the world not as it should be, but as it is. And this is where most people recoil. Because mercy makes the world easier to bear. It makes betrayal feel less personal. It makes suffering feel noble. It provides a psychological cushion between your mind and the chaos that surrounds it. But if you want to lead, to build, to survive, there will come a moment when you'll need to set mercy down. Not forever, but long enough to see the truth, make the hard decision, and act without hesitation. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, a man often quoted for his wisdom and restraint, but few remember that his reign was also marked by war, suppression, and cold calculation. Stoicism was never softness, it was armor. Or Nietzsche, who warned that compassion unchecked can become a sickness, that in protecting the weak endlessly, we risk corrupting strength itself. He saw pity not as a virtue, but as a chain around the neck of human evolution. Even Machiavelli, misunderstood and misquoted, taught that a ruler must learn how not to be good when goodness would destroy the state. Mercy, he wrote, is admirable until it allows disorder to spread like infection. History's most feared minds knew what we've forgotten. When mercy becomes automatic, it becomes dangerous. Look around you. How often do you forgive people who wouldn't do the same for you? How often do you give chances to those who repeatedly exploit them? How often do you silence your instincts? Because being ruthless might make others uncomfortable. That hesitation has a cost, and you pay it in time, in energy, in wasted years surrounded by the wrong people and the wrong rules. Thinking without mercy means asking brutal questions. Who benefits from your softness? Who thrives while you wither? Who smiles while you shrink? It means learning to say no with finality, to walk away without apology, to draw lines so sharp they cut through manipulation. This is not cruelty. This is self-respect forged into discipline. It's easy to think without mercy when it's someone else's pain. But the real test, the one the darkest minds understood, is when it's your own. When you have to cut ties with someone you still love. When you have to destroy a version of yourself you've grown attached to. When you must sacrifice comfort to build power. That's where mercy whispers loudest, just let it slide. But power demands a different answer. No, not this time. Because mercy has limits, and when it exceeds them, it becomes self-betrayal. Now here's the hard truth most won't admit. Some people deserve to be cut off. Some habits deserve to be destroyed. Some parts of you will have to die if the rest of you is to rise. And no amount of positive thinking will change that. If this message feels heavy, it's supposed to. Because what you're about to do with your mind is dangerous. You're dismantling the guilt-based operating system that's kept you compliant. You're learning to assess, not just feel. To discern, not just sympathize. This is where detachment begins. Not the apathetic kind, but the focused kind. The kind that sees through excuses, through charm, through tears. You're not becoming cold, you're becoming clear. And in that clarity, you start to see who's real and who's not, who builds and who bleeds, who grows and who drains. You'll be called heartless. You'll be told you've changed. But that's just noise from those who benefited from your confusion. If you've ever stayed too long in the wrong relationship, forgiven someone who showed no remorse, tolerated chaos out of guilt, then you know this truth in your bones. Mercy is powerful, but misplaced mercy is a slow death. So how do you begin to think without mercy? Start by rewriting your internal script. When someone crosses you, don't ask, "Am I being too harsh?" Ask, "What would happen if I never corrected this?" When you feel guilt for putting yourself first, don't ask, "Am I selfish?" Ask, "Who taught me that self-preservation was a sin?" When you hesitate to set a boundary, don't ask, "What if they hate me?" Ask, "What has tolerating them already cost me?" This shift is subtle, but it changes everything. It returns control to your hands. It unhooks your mind from the approval of others. And it forces your values into the light. Not the values you inherited, but the ones you choose. And once you see through mercy's disguise, you begin to wield it with purpose. You give it to those who've earned it. You withhold it from those who weaponize it. And most importantly, you stop demanding it from yourself when the moment calls for fire. Remember this: you cannot build a life of strength on a foundation of guilt. You want to evolve? Let go of the idea that mercy is always noble, because sometimes the highest form of morality is judgment. The greatest act of love is departure. The truest form of growth is the death of what no longer serves you. To think without mercy is not to become a villain. It's to become immune to manipulation. It's to master your mind, not just for yourself, but for everyone who watches you and realizes they don't have to be controlled by guilt either. So if this resonates, don't let it end here. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you're ready for more uncomfortable truths. And hit the notification bell so you never miss the next one. Because mercy has its place, but so does fire. And the most dangerous mind is the one that knows when to use both.